Hi, you're listening to Everyday Superpower, a place where you can learn about body language and reading people's non-verbal communications, their minds, purely through how they behave and act. And the best thing about it is that they don't even know that they're doing this, alright, as it works on a subconscious basis. But likewise, with yourself, you are also sending out these signals for people to read without being aware of it. So it's good to clue yourself up at the very least to know how you can control your own actions and come across in the way you want to. If you enjoyed the topic at hand, what I want you to do is either comment, like, or subscribe, or do all of the above. And without further ado, what we're going to do is we're going to get into a lesson, okay? So thank you. Today we're talking about territory, alright? Territory? What? Do you think I'm, some sort of animal? Yeah, we're talking about territory because territory is very important, not only with it is non-verbal communication, it's a non-verbal display of ownership, alright? So, territorial lines are drawn all over, whether it be country to country, town to town, city to city, whether it be the space you take up at your office table, whether it be the space you take up in your high school table, your primary school table, whether it be, how close you get to someone, proxemics, alright, whether you sit in someone's chair, and so on and so forth. Territory is a thing, and territory does work on a subconscious basis as a means of respect or disrespect, okay? A means of power or submission. This is a whole entire world in itself, so I'm not going to be able to go through so much of it, but we're going to have a little look into it so we can at least understand the basics and look into a few different examples as to where this comes into effect. Right, so let's have a look at the workplace. Yeah, are you going to go and sit in the boss's chair? Probably not, and if you are, I wouldn't do that, a naive individual would, but that's putting yourself in the position of the boss when you're not, and the boss is unconsciously going to think, who does this person think they are they disrespecting me? Because it is a sign of disrespect. And now, let's have a look at the chair. Is the chair bigger than everybody else's? In some cases it might be, such as the judge's chair, the king's throne. Those with the power and the authority feel they have the right to have bigger, bulkier objects and take up more space. Why? Because it's territorial. Okay? The richest people on earth, what do? Do they buy land? Yeah, they buy up more land than everybody else. The monarchy owns a lot of land. As you can tell from my voice, I'm from England. Our Queen owns a lot of land. Does your normal person do so? No. Is your normal person going to go and take the piss on, the Queen's land? They shouldn't be. As a fact of like territorial dominance, okay? You may have a sofa, or what we call a settee, okay? A long chair. You might have a particular place you like to sit. It may make you feel somewhat uncomfortable if you invite a friend over and they sit in your space and you're left to sit in, a little chair in the outskirts of the room. It's territory, okay? When you're dating and you're sitting across from a beautiful woman, what you can do is you can start to move the salt or your drink or your food or whatever you have on your side of the table towards the table into her territory, to move into their intimate space. It's territorial. When we talk about proxemics, we talk about how close we get to an individual. We have an intimate space around us, which is only reserved for those whom we want in that space, regardless. From there we have personal space, and from there we have social space. So an individual who is being social to you, if they get too close, it'll make you feel uncomfortable because you feel you have the right to that space around you. It's territorial, okay? When we're at a meeting of sorts, the leader of the group may sit at the head of the table. If the subordinate sits at the head of the table, you may make the leader feel uncomfortable, and such an act may unravel the group from the inside out, because the person may feel a new passive aggressive way towards you, and start to sabotage. My apologies in regards to I'm just going off the top. May start to sabotage or create a self-destructive value within the group. So this territorial stuff is ever so delicate and to be taken seriously, okay? If you get invited to somebody's house and you start snooping around and looking and holding and picking up another individual's things, you're inadvertently possessing somebody else's items. You feel that you have the right to do so. I seen an interview recorded in the 90s. A very powerful music label executive. He gets invited into a chat show. He comes on. He sits on the interviewer's desk, implementing this dominance and essentially bullying the interviewer, okay? Because what's the interviewer going to do? Either going to feel very uncomfortable doing so, or tell the individual, you can't sit there, don't sit there. And then what's the other individual do? If they feel that they have the right to sit there, they're going to respond with, what's the problem? And then by then you've created an issue, an aggressive issue, okay? Territory is to be taken seriously. Bombs are planted and missiles are fired across water for the sake of territory and ownership. Colonization happens and places are robbed, taken from them, destroyed, pillaged over territory. And as extreme as that is, the parallel still remains within the person-to-person communication of this world, of you sitting on a train and choosing what seat you want to take, or you going to somebody's house and deciding whether you should sit down or stand up. When in a workplace or around those whom feel that they have some sort of authoritarian position over you, personal space becomes, a show of social order. So the boss or the authoritarian leader of the group will be able to touch you, whereas it'll be uncomfortable for you to touch them back and enter their space without them wanting you to do so. Okay, so they have a right to essentially, I would go as far as saying the right to essentially use and abuse those below them as far as physical touch. It's why you see a lot of instances happening within, particular entertainment industries and such with, touchy-feely, abusive individuals. It's because they feel they have a right to do so and sort of use that as a platform above those below. It's power display, territorial. So if you like what you hear, click like, subscribe, comment. Goodbye.